Thero Sarnai. It's 2:31 here in Colombo, so we are ready to start the question and answer session conducted by Honorable Venerable Panadure Chandaratana Thero. I now hand over the podium to Mrs. Dilara Fernand to present the questions for the today's session. Thero Sarnai.
Thank you, Amir. Thiruvang Saranai. Venerable Sir, may I present total of 11 questions, 8 on meditation, 2 on Dhamma, and 1 general question.
Yeah, we can go one by one, Dilhara.
Okay, Bhante. Yeah. Most Venerable Swami Vahansa, Kamatahan reporting, watching in breath and out breath. After doing the Chatura Rakta Bhavana, I pay attention to the breath. Very often, after about 10 minutes, the feelings of the body disappear. Mind is calm and relaxed, but continuous thoughts are coming. After 15 minutes or so, falls onto a stage where not many thoughts, and I look at the empty mind. But I still can hear the surrounding noises, though I do not get distracted. Maybe I spend another 15 minutes like this and then come back to thoughts again. I do sitting meditation twice a day, and most of the sitting during the last 6 months is like this. Humbly requesting further guidance. May you achieve all your Dhamma desires in this very life.
Yeah, actually, this happens as we continue our practice related to Anapanasati, when we are mindful about breathing. So slowly, breath starts to disappear and breath becomes subtler and subtler. So we simply have to maintain our attention at the nostril, because Anapanasati itself has a path to continue with all 4 Satipatthanas. All the Vipassana can be done by keeping Anapanasati, the mindfulness on breathing, as kind of a foundation. So therefore, I can recommend that you can continue the way you are continuing, keeping your attention at the breath, and once it is becoming subtler, you can simply maintain your attention at the nostril, without changing the position. So there could be a possibility that even breath disappears. And then the whole body calms down and the breath also calms down. It is becoming very much unnoticeable. And therefore, so this unnoticeable situation, now breath almost has disappeared and mind has calmed down, total body has calmed down. And at that time, there could be sort of lighting, kind of lightness appearing in the body, kind of floating like experience, a certain massaging kind of experiences. So these kind of some pleasurable experiences can happen. You simply have to undergo that. You simply have to allow it to happen. So there is no any specific change you need to do. Simply you got to continue and let things happen. You simply keep an open mind. Let the breath calm down, let the body calms down. You just need to maintain your attention at the nostril, and then slowly the next stages will manifest. We can go to the next section, Dilha.
The second question. Venerable Bhante, my main object of meditation is rising and falling of the abdomen. But there is much prominence given to Anapanasati, or the in-breath and the out-breath. I have a doubt, Bhante, whether in-breath and out-breath meditation is more beneficial than rising and falling of the abdomen meditation. Hence, I am considering to focus on Anapanasati. Venerable Thero, can you kindly explain what is the right thing to do? Much respect.
Yeah, actually, Anapanasati has one specific benefit, that is, it has the possibility of taking you to the samatha practice as well. That is more into deeper concentrations, like jhana concentrations. But on the other hand, Vipassana point of view, Anapanasati and rising and falling techniques evolve very much similar. So in that point of view, there is no necessity for you to switch to Anapanasati if your attention on rising and falling is evolving pretty smoothly and you feel that you are progressing. Then you don't need to go to Anapanasati, because rising and falling Kamatahan, that primary object is a very good primary object, very good meditation object, because it takes you directly to Vipassana, directly to elements meditation, Dhatu Manasikara. So that paves the way to Vipassana, and actually with Kayanupassana, Dhatu Manasikara, and then slowly even to Vedananupassana, and slowly to Chittanupassana, Dhammanupassana. Likewise, the whole meditation can evolve, can blossom with rising and falling. So therefore, there is no specific need for you to switch to Anapanasati if rising and falling technique is more at the moment, if you think it is happening very well. So therefore, only advantage in Anapanasati is that you can go to some deeper concentration if necessary, and that is only a kind of a temporary achievement, only a kind of a temporary bliss you can experience by going through Anapanasati, and later definitely you have to switch to Vipassana even with Anapanasati. So that Vipassana facilities, what we gain through Anapanasati, is all available in this Dhatu Manasikara technique as well. Because Anapanasati, certain section belongs to Kayanupassana, another section belongs to Vedananupassana, another section belongs to Chittanupassana, another section belongs to Dhammanupassana. Similarly, you can, if you compare Dhatu Manasikara, that actually belongs to Kayanupassana. Once that section, that step is slowly evolved to the next, then you are leading towards the Vedananupassana. As it calms down, then you are leading to Chittanupassana and then Dhammanupassana. So these are naturally happening. Natural progress is possible in all these techniques. So therefore, I don't feel that you particularly have a specific need to go to Anapanasati unless you need some deeper concentrations.
Thank you, Bhakti. Thiruvan Saranai. As advised by you many a times, I usually do walking meditation before sitting. I prefer walking to sitting meditation. I find walking meditation is pleasant at the start, but unfortunately, I get bored after about half an hour and tend to stop. Please advise me how I could overcome this problem. May you attain Nibbana in this life itself. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Could you repeat that? Could you repeat that, Dilhara?
As advised by you many a times, I usually do walking meditation before sitting.
Yeah.
I prefer walking to sitting meditation. I find walking meditation is pleasant at the start, but unfortunately, I get bored after about half an hour and tend to stop.
Yeah.
Please advise me how I could overcome this problem.
Sure. Okay, got it. So basically, this boredom not only available in walking, you may end up with, you may even find across it in sitting as well. Because this boredom is not something that we need to discard or something we need to get rid of, but rather slowly we need to get used to it. Now, if we are looking at the problem in a different angle, typically what we want is to kind of typically the human nature is we like excitement. We like so many activities. We want to do something. So we are on a that kind of a mentality. We always want to do something. We want some kind of excitement. We want kind of agitation. So we don't much appreciate kind of a calmness, peacefulness. So that's why people are always going for some action-packed movies and all excitement and all these things, picnics and all these things, because they love that excitement. Not just sitting, not just be, but in walking meditation as well as in sitting meditation, you will reach an area where you just have to be without doing anything. So in walking meditation, it happens. At the beginning, it appears like you are doing something. You do walking. You are consciously, mindfully, and again with a kind of an intention, you are walking. But slowly, this intentional walking becomes somewhat very natural walking, where your body moves as it happens automatically. Then you simply have to step back and watch it without spending much effort. Simply you have to notice the body movement, where each and every leg touches the ground, and you are consciously, mindfully keeping that attention at each movement, each touching sensation and various other sensations. And then walking becomes kind of a natural experience. And as you have mentioned, there could be a kind of a boredom. So that you need to endure, rather than trying to skip that, or rather than trying to get up and leave it and come to sitting. You just have to continue this, because now less and less activity is going to happen. So don't expect that more and more activities will happen. Instead, as your meditation sort of refines, improves, activities may be less and less. You even have to discard even the names that you have given. Say, for example, you are previously using left, right, or lifting, moving, placing. All these names, all these noting, that has to be discarded. And say you are each and every time when your leg touches the ground, so you can sort of understand different types of element characteristics. Later, all these things can become sort of a flux, where there is no much interest, there are no much distinction. So this is the evolvement. So we need to get prepared for that kind of an experience, rather than expecting sort of an excitement or kind of a multidimensional information. Rather, the things become sort of a flux, everything become like blurred. That interest, the sort of enthusiasm can even reduce. So these things are possibilities. So as the meditation evolves, particularly in Vipassana, there are stages where you sort of come across kind of a nibbida, kind of a dispassion arising within yourself. So that you need to understand, and simply you have to endure it for some time. Then slowly mind will get used to it, get familiarized with it. At the beginning, it appears like utterly boring. So therefore, please continue more than 30 minutes. Don't stop at 30 minutes. Now you can expand it to 35 minutes. Maybe once you are familiarized or kind of all right with 35 minutes, then you can expand it to 40 minutes. So likewise, you have to train the mind to go through this boredom and to endure this boredom. And then boredom doesn't become a problem. Yeah. So anyway, I mean, Amil mentioned that there are no sort of questions asked by the yogis. Anyway, if you have any question, probably we can give the chance by raising the hand. Then Amil can give the chance whoever has raised the hand. We can continue, Dilhara.
Oh, thank you, Bhante. Venerable Thero, I'm very grateful for this opportunity to forward a question to you. I'm quite new to meditation. I do the Kayanupassana. Sorry, Bhante. I do the Kayanupassana and focus on the breath. As instructed, after scanning the body, I concentrate on the nostril and follow the in-breath and out-breath. As my mind concentrates, I can feel saliva collecting in my mouth and a slight vibration of the lower lip against the teeth. There are also tingling sensations in the limbs. Slowly, the breath becomes very subtle and a very pleasant feeling goes through my body. Sensory input seems to diminish, and I don't even feel my body. About this time, with my eyes closed, I see bright colored shapes which enlarge and change and disappear and reappear. I have not proceeded beyond this point. I want to do Vipassana meditation, and I would be thankful if you could advise me how to proceed and tell me if I'm doing anything wrong. Thirwan Saranai.
Yeah, nothing wrong. I mean, all these things are sort of outcomes of the meditation. So basically, the report says that you are progressing your concentration is developing, and certain indications are there representing that, and certain other things like saliva get collected at mouth, and all these things are kind of natural effects. Those things will disappear. I mean, basically you don't need to worry about it, and simply you can swallow it and simply continue. I mean, these things will later will disappear, and the meditation will become smooth. At the beginning, there are so many sort of little itches are there, but slowly they will disappear. On the other hand, these different color lights and all, you just need to neglect them at the moment. Continue to pay attention on breath, because as your concentration develops, these kind of nimitters, these kind of signs can happen. That's an indication that your concentration is increasing. So if you start to pay attention to them, then you are not preparing enough courses, giving enough facilities to further improvement. So therefore, don't watch them too much. Simply take your attention back to the breath. Stay more and more with the breath. Keep your attention on breath. Calm down and relax yourself. And then slowly you will further improve, because still too early to switch to Vipassana, and there is sometimes the meditation itself will take you to Vipassana. Kind of a natural transition happen. So therefore, we don't need to purposely divert your meditation to any particular site. Rather, continue as it is for the time being, and later we can see. I mean, as it evolves, as it progresses, we can see if it is really necessary to make a kind of a intentional change, or whether the meditation itself is evolving towards Vipassana. So that is the most typical thing happens. That is, as we continue our practice, it may improve our concentration, and then it naturally will evolve towards the Vipassana. So that is the most kind of natural effect, natural incident happen, and we simply need to facilitate that. If it is not happening due to some reason, then we can do some kind of adjustments and then put it to the correct track. So at the moment, we don't need to do any adjustment. You can simply continue.
Thank you, Bhante. Dear Most Venerable Bhante, I started meditating only a few weeks ago, though I have been listening to the Dhamma for a couple of years. Actually, these unwholesome thoughts appear most when trying to incline my mind towards wholesome intentions throughout the day, maintaining a kusala chittaya. The unwholesome thoughts seem to appear without intention when I try to focus my mind on something pure. Right now, I'm practicing the Anapanasati. I usually try to sit for about 1 hour every day. During Anapanasati, my mind is mostly stable without unwholesome thoughts. Bhante, there seems to be another part to it.
Yeah.
Theruvan Saranai, Most Venerable Bhante, what should we do when unwholesome thoughts suddenly appear in the mind without us willing them, both during and outside meditation?
Yeah.
When we are aware of unwholesome thoughts, should we will force our way out of them, or let them appear and pass? If those thoughts appear out of lobha or dvesha, we can identify those states. Does every other unwholesome thought arise out of moha? And if so, how can we remedy that? How do we recognize the characteristics of the mind which is under the influence of moha? Can unwholesome states of mind arise due to the fear of having unwholesome states of mind? If so, how do we let go that fear? Thank you, and much merit to you.
Yeah, actually, at the beginning of our meditation, we are not yet matured enough or sort of strong enough to handle unwholesome thoughts. So we still are sort of in the training. So we further have to strengthen the mind, strengthen the mindfulness and concentration, and then slowly the meditation will take us to that area where we can directly face to face be with unwholesome thoughts. There are sort of many techniques Buddha has mentioned, there are many techniques to handle unwholesome thoughts, but till we are sort of capable of doing that, we simply have to continue with Kayanupasana. Simply have to spend more time with our breath, taking again and again to the primary object. Because say, for just to give you a simile, suppose you are yet a novice, not yet a really matured person, then you can't go to the battlefield. First, you need to become a really talented, well-skilled person, and then only you can confidently go to the battlefield. But meditation is very much like that. So at the beginning, we are like kids. We are like a novice. We are learning various techniques. We are strengthening our muscles, strengthening our mindfulness, concentration, etc. And we are learning various techniques. So then slowly we gain certain capacities. We will understand, what is mindfulness? What is sati? What is concentration? How the mind can be sort of handled? What is the effort? How we can, when mind becomes somewhat drowsy, how we can overcome that? When mind becomes little lustful, how one can overcome that? When mind becomes angry, how one can overcome that? So likewise, slowly we start to understand about our mind. So this understanding happen very slowly. So don't expect immediately go to the battlefield. Instead, develop your skills. And at the moment when you are doing Anapanasati, whenever unwholesome thoughts arise, don't try to involve with them. Don't try to look at them. Just at the moment, just come back. Just put them aside and try to be with the breath as much as possible. Because at the moment we are strengthening this mindfulness muscle, strengthening the concentration. So by using the body is the most easiest component, most easiest tool for us to develop mindfulness at the moment. So use that as much as possible. And later, slowly, this developed mindfulness can be definitely utilized to overcome various unwholesome thoughts. Then unwholesome thoughts are not that powerful. At the moment, unwholesome thoughts are very powerful and they can overcome you. But when mindfulness has grown enough, then that grown mindfulness or strong mindfulness can easily overcome unwholesome thoughts. Then unwholesome thoughts become sort of raw material for your meditation. That's what is happening in Chittanupasana and Dhammanupasana. Yeah, they no more become sort of a hindrance, or they don't become sort of a bottleneck or obstacle. Rather, they give kind of a fertilizer to improve further wisdom. So therefore, don't worry. You have time. So continue your practice daily and improve further mindfulness using body. And then slowly you will learn the art. You will strengthen the mindfulness and concentration. And again, some wisdom also being developed using Kayanupasana. And automatically you will get on to the area where you are sort of confront the unwholesome thoughts. Actually, simply by understanding unwholesome thoughts and facing them and be mindful about them, that is the way of handling them. Yeah, we can go to the next one. Yeah.
Bhante, this is seems a bit of a long Kamatahan. I will read it slowly. This is my experience in Anapanasati meditation. Observe in and out breath mindfully. Number 2, I observe at times long breath in and out, short breath in and out. Then number 3, observe the feelings that spread all over the body, feeling of pleasure, painful feelings, and neutral feelings. Number 4, then I observe that I do not feel the in and out breath. Number 5, then observe this body as body is within brackets of 32 fecal matters and of 4 elements: hardness, fluid, potent expansion and contraction, closed brackets, then other bodies, and know that after all, as this body, so are the others, and as those bodies, so is this. However, in the 3rd stage, often it is given as seeing the beginning, middle, and end of in and out breath. But breath is composite function and not just one. Buddha in Sapa Sutra told bhikkhus of eye and form, ear and sound, nose and smell, tongue and taste, and body and tactile feelings. Pottabba. Pottabba are electric circuits that throng the body, and one in samatha, meditation mode, find mindfulness and concentration due to the two forming body consciousness leading ultimately to feelings. One observes these feelings. Vipassana, as I know, is when you penetrate the apparent truth to see as it is. Both long and short are apparent truth. And as late Venerable Bhikkhu Nyanananda Thero said, long because not short enough, and short because not long enough, and thus are apparent truths. In observation of bodily feelings as they are real truths, not apparent truths or mental proliferations. Venerable Bhante, I seek your guidance on this. Kind regards.
Yeah, some misunderstandings. Actually, long, short, big, small, say morning, evening, and all these are relative truths, not the apparent kind of the ultimate truths. Actually, through Vipassana, we are trying to reach the area of ultimate truths and not in the sort of the conventional truth, conventional reality. So this long, short, hot, sort of good, bad, morning, night, and all these are sort of conventional truth that to facilitate communication, we human beings have established. So we are not taking those for Vipassana. Instead, we have to go to the more primordial level, more basic level, where the basic elements are becoming the object of Vipassana. That is where we are trying to do, say for example, in walking meditation, we maybe start with left, right, lifting, moving and all these things. But later, slowly, once the mind becomes very calm, very quiet, then we can feel various sensations. We can feel the more element characteristics. That is the, say, hardness, softness, then lightness, heaviness, grossness, smoothness, heat, cold. Actually, these things are directly possible to feel, possible to experience. You don't need any language to experience. Say, for example, when your leg touches the ground, if you are walking on a, say, sand path, so you may feel the hardness, you may feel the roughness. So, I mean, you don't need to even know these names, but you know that this kind of a feeling is there, this kind of a element characteristic is there. So this is a kind of basic direct experience. So this direct experience, these element characteristics are the ones we are trying to understand, to investigate. So more we investigate, we will understand how they behave. Actually, based on these element characteristics, based on these elements, actually we are manifesting, we are growing, we are preparing something big, something conceptual. And then we call, okay, this is a mug. Say, for example, if you are taking some clay and all these things, and we are calling it, this is a mug, this is a pot, this is a cloth, this is a clock. And likewise, we are giving various names, we are giving various labels, and we make various shapes. But all these names, shapes, colors, and all these things are coming to the conventional reality, conventional truth, on which we are not doing Vipassana. But we have to come down, we have to go to the bottom, we have to go to the root level, the source level. Then only we will come across these sources, come across these element characteristics, elements, how they behave, and then we will understand the reality. Because we are going to the more deeper, more basic, more primordial level, and then we investigate what is really happening there. Then we are doing the sort of the micro level investigation. Then we will understand what's really going on. And then we'll understand, okay, this body entirely consists of this kind of 4 elements and how they manifest due to various causes and conditions. And something similar is available in outside as well. So Ajjata and Bahidda, so the internal and external are very similar. So then the boundaries will disappear. The boundaries become blur, and likewise the importance that we have given for this body as my body, this is beautiful, that is ugly. So likewise these relative names, relative values that we have given become more and more insignificant, more and more not useful, and then our mind becomes kind of an open, sort of a non-judgmental kind of an attitude will going to develop. So this is how the Vipassana technique evolves. So therefore, you simply have to change a little bit of some misunderstandings are there in your writing. Yeah.
Venerable Thero, my primary object is Anapanasati meditation. I watch the in-breath and the out-breath. I have been meditating for a few years now. Sometimes when my meditation is going good, I feel like I'm watching a movie or gliding through the galaxy. It doesn't happen all the time. It may happen when I have been meditating seriously or continuously for a few days. It is a beautiful feeling to glide through the galaxy kind of thing. What does it mean in terms of meditation? Is it normal to experience such a thing, or should it not happen at all? Venerable Thero, can you kindly explain what is the right thing? Much merits to you, and may you achieve supreme bliss of Nibbana.
Yeah, different experience can happen. I mean, it is not just one. Different people can go through different experiences based on your past perceptions, and we all have some different perceptions about the world, about our past experiences. Different memories are there, likes and dislikes are there. So therefore this experience is somewhat colored by our likes and dislikes, by our upbringing, by our hopes, by our perceptions. So therefore simply allow things to happen. These experiences are very temporary. It's like say when you are going on a long journey, there are various things on your side. You can take a little break and you can watch something. You can stay at a rest house. You can watch a movie. But that is not the journey. Journey is simply you take a kind of a note and simply continue your journey. The journey is actually having various milestones, and we simply have to pass all these milestones, learning and sort of maturing by all these milestones, and then continuing our journey. So therefore this is kind of a temporary experience. Don't give much value to it. Simply continue attention, continue your practice, and much more to come. And actually the whole these kind of experiences become less and less troublemaking. Now they become kind of ordinary. At the very early stages, these kind of experiences are very exciting and giving you a lot of inspiration. But slowly, these become kind of a natural effects, and they become kind of very ordinary. So don't worry, simply continue your practice.
Thank you, Bhante. Most Venerable Bhante, I would like to humbly request Bhante to explain the following. Nirodhaya. Number 2, Bhanga Jnanaya. Number 3, is there a connection between Nirodhaya and Bhangaya? It is said in meditation to watch Nirodhaya, within brackets, Nirodhaya Dakinna, close brackets. Is it what we experience in our...
Yeah, Dilhara, what is the last statement you mentioned? What is the relationship?
I would like to humbly request Bhante to explain the following. Nirodhaya, Bhanga Jnanaya, is there a connection between Nirodhaya and Bhangaya? It is said that in meditation to watch Nirodhaya Dakinna, within brackets.
Okay.
Is it what we experience in Anapana?
Yeah, I mean, if we to, I mean, we'll simply answer part of this question first.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So there are different levels of Nirodha, the cessation. Say, for example, if you consider Anapanasati, so at the beginning, suppose you are experiencing in-breath and then maybe out-breath. So likewise, one can say, okay, you are experiencing the beginning of in-breath, then the middle of the in-breath and the end of the in-breath. And then the beginning of the out-breath, middle of the out-breath, the end of the out-breath. But this is not really the sort of the real Nirodha or real cessation, but we are still in the conventional level. Slowly, as our mindfulness refines, concentration improves. So we may experience very subtle levels of in-breath and out-breath. So then it is, we can't even give a name, okay, this is the in-breath, this is the out-breath, because we can't perceive that kind of conventional level, but rather very elementary level experience is there. So some sort of a knowing is there. There is something going on. Some sensation is available, and you can't even give a name to it, and you can't even find a location or place for that. That is an improvement of meditation. So at that time, we may sort of overcome all these relational information or sort of conventional information, conceptual information, and we are reaching now the elementary level. That is where, as I said into the previous question, that is where we are now trying to touch the real sort of vipassana, where the elementary level direct experience is available for us. So now we observe, okay, some sensation, now it is beginning, it is passing away, arising and then passing away. Say heat, maybe arising and then passing away. Roughness, arising, passing away. Stiffness, arising, passing away. Movement, arising, passing away. Kind of a vibration, arising, passing away. So likewise, you can see there are various different element characteristics and even feelings. Maybe happy feeling, arising, passing away. Painful feeling, arising, passing away. Neutral feeling, arising, passing away. And again, say even thoughts. Maybe lustful thought, arising, passing away. Angry thought, arising, passing away. Now you can see we are coming to an area. So all the different element characteristics as well as the feelings and even thoughts and various other thought patterns and all these things are having some common characteristics, that is to arise and pass away. So this is one area we can now switch into seeing the Nirodha, seeing the passing away side. So at the beginning we see the Samudaya side, how they arise. And later we can see how they passes away. And then we can give more emphasis on passing away, the Nirodha part. How things are passing away. Now we are not looking at much about the arising part. Now we give more emphasis on passing away. Now we need to continue looking at more and more passing away, Nirodha. So later there could be a possibility. So your mind will simply discard all these arising and passing away and will sort of all these arising and passing away phenomena will disappear, and you can end up with, or the mind can end up with non-attached kind of a state, what we call as anisita state, where there is no association with any of these. Rather, mind has found its own kind of a freedom. So when one touches this, so one can see this is the kind of a sort of a temporary but still noticeable kind of a Nirodha, where there are no further arisings happen. You are not paying attention now for the elements, you are not paying attention to feelings, you are not paying attention to say thoughts or any other formations, but your mind is now established simply on the cessation. There are no coming and going, there are no arising and passing away, but simply kind of a rest, kind of a peace, kind of a space is there. So this is where the Nirodha is fairly touched by the yogi. And therefore, when, as I mentioned in the early part, when one see arising and passing away, and then when we are purposely looking at only the passing away side, passing away, that is where the Bhanga Jnana, where everywhere the sort of Bhanga, the sort of what you call destruction, dismantling, that kind of a thing going to happen. So wherever you see this disintegration. So that is where the Bhanga and the Nirodha are coinciding. So therefore there is a significant relationship between the Bhanga Jnana and then the Nirodha, and there is a difference as well. Yeah, we can go to the next part.
Okay, the next part. Is it what we experience in Anapana, when we feel almost no in-breath, but we feel the out-breath more noticeably till the end?
No.
And also when...
Yeah, actually no. This is still, we are in the conventional level. One simply understand, okay, this is the in-breath, this is the out-breath, and later maybe in-breath disappear, maybe out-breath disappear. So this is simply still in the conventional level. We haven't yet reached that kind of insight. Yeah.
And also, when concentrating on body sensations, at times you feel mostly the ceasing of sensations, but not the beginning, rising of the sensation. Also, Bhante, please explain how can a yogi know when achieved Bhanga Jnanaya? Much merit to Bhante, Thiruvan Saranai.
Yeah, actually at the beginning what we are experiencing is simply say sato vasa sati, sato pasa sati. Simply being aware of in-breath, simply being aware of out-breath. And then maybe the longer in-breath, maybe the shorter in-breath, longer out-breath, shorter out-breath. So likewise we are still in the relative level, in the conceptual level. So this is not yet at the Bhanga level or Nirodha or any of these, because we are still developing the mindfulness, developing the concentration. And later, as I said, so all these conventional realities will disappear, and the time, the space, all these names, labels will simply slowly disappear, and we will touch the very primordial, basic, elementary level. That is where we have to carefully observe various phenomena, how these phenomena behave, and then the individual characteristics or private characteristics going to appear, and what are the distinct qualities of each element. And then slowly, because of our close examination, we will understand how they change, how they arise, how they are changing, and how they disappear. And then slowly, these distinct characteristics, individual characteristics starts to disappear, and then slowly we will end up with the common characteristics. And common characteristics are the area where we are dealing with more into the vipassana, some understanding, and that is the area where we touch all these bhanga, the passing away, and the nirodha, and all these things. Yeah.
Reverend Bhante, why is it said that kamma cannot be made from satya and prajnava, within brackets, or wisdom?
Sorry, kamma cannot be made?
Made from satya and prajnava.
There is no such thing. Actually, when one is mindful, one can do the wholesome kamma. I mean, there is no, I mean, if you want, you can do a wholesome activity while being mindful. So therefore, on the other hand, if you are developing mindfulness, you can't continue your unwholesome kamma, unwholesome activities, because as the mindfulness grows, so it will show you the path that you are doing something wrong, you are doing something unskillful. It's bad to yourself and not beneficial to the others. So likewise, the mindfulness helps to distinguish whether what is wholesome and what is unwholesome. So therefore, more you develop mindfulness, and then it couples with the clear comprehension, sampajanya, and therefore you can't continue unwholesome activities longer. You will discard unwholesome activities and you will simply establish on wholesome side. You become a good person. but still you can do some good activities. Say, for example, you are doing metta meditation. Metta meditation is a very good activity and it has a lot of merit power, and you can do it consciously, you can do it mindfully, and it's a wholesome karma. So therefore, we can't say that you can't do any karma mindfully.
Okay. This is the last question, sir.
Yeah.
Most Venerable Sir, I don't have a fixed time to meditate due to many obligations. I try to maintain mindfulness throughout the day and catch half-hour meditation sittings whenever possible. I maintain my sila and have given up much and try not to get carried away with sensory perceptions. Is meditation only enough to get out of this samsara? And will meditation only help one to reach Margaphala? Do we need to study the Buddha's teachings, sutras and Abhidhamma in order to achieve the end result, Margaphala? Could you please, Most Venerable Sir, explain on this? May you attain Nibbana in this very life.
Yeah, I mean, Buddha explained various methods to improve our mind. Say, for example, in Anuggahita Sutta, Buddha asked us to support our mind in 5 ways. First way is the sila. So one has to establish oneself in morality, because our mind is not yet developed. It is under the influence of various defilements. So therefore, when the mind is corrupted, when the mind is polluted, we may end up with doing some bad activities using the body and as well as using the verbs, using the words. One can do various unwholesome activities. So therefore, we are using sila, morality, to restrain ourselves. So therefore, Buddha asks us to use sila as a one support. So one is establishing on sila and knowing the benefits of that and doing it honestly. And once one is protecting sila honestly, and that gives us a lot of support. So that is one attribute of this practice, of this whole path, sila anuggahita. And then Buddha says sutta anuggahita. We need to learn Buddha's teaching and to listen Dhamma, read some books and all these things. And that also gives up some confidence. So because, I mean, this information, this Dhamma has to be learned from a teacher or someone from outside, because we ourselves might not be able to investigate by our own. Because nowadays, still the Buddha's time is there. So the Dhamma is available, Sangha is available. Therefore, we can get the benefit from that. So we can therefore learn from suttas, read some books, listen Dhamma, and as a result, we gain some knowledge, some understanding about Dhamma, but still on the superficial level. Still, we haven't touched that. We haven't experienced any of these. Simply, we have some surface level knowledge. This is like this is like that. So likewise, some kind of a theoretical understanding is there. Then Buddha asks us to do some conversation, discussion. So that actually more related with the practice. And the practice actually Buddha says to support with the tranquility practice as well as the insight practice. Tranquility practice is where we are trying to sort of calm down the mind, tranquilize the mind, and again concentrate the mind, collect the mind. Because typically our minds are extremely distracted. Can't stay in a single object even for a second. So such mind is extremely transient, and such mind is not capable of developing enough insight, enough wisdom. So therefore Buddha asks us to collect the mind, asks us to concentrate the mind. So this concentrated, collected, peaceful mind is capable of developing vipassana, capable of developing wisdom. So therefore, in order to develop fair amount of wisdom, we need to concentrate the mind, tranquilize the mind, calm the mind, and then that calm mind, concentrated mind can be used to develop vipassana, develop insight. So therefore, all these 5 methods Buddha recommend. And as I said, all these experiences can be further discussed with the practitioner or with a teacher, and then if there are any doubts, then you can eliminate those doubts, clear those doubts, as well as if you want any instruction, one can get that instruction, further advices. So then your path become more stronger, more confidently you can continue your path. So therefore, Buddha asks us to strengthen our practice using the morality support as well as the theoretical understanding, theoretical knowledge-wise, the sutta anuggahita, and then time to time discussing about Dhamma, then discussing about our practice and exposing to another teacher, another Kalyana Mitra about our own practice. And then that is the Sakacca Anuggahita. And then improve our concentration, that is the Samatha Anuggahita. And again, improve the wisdom, that is the Vipassana Anuggahita. So therefore, all these methods are necessary. One can't say the other one is not necessary. All these 5 techniques, all these 5 supports, Buddha say as a kind of essential part in this whole path. So therefore, everything contributes to the understanding of ourselves. So therefore, try to support your practice in all these 5 ways at least. Yeah. So that is the end of the written questions. So if you have any other question, or if these listeners have any question arisen because of the present discussion or what I have said, you have some time to continue. Yeah. It seems there are no questions. Dilhara, if you don't have any other questions received at the moment, probably we can wind up then.
Thank you, Bhante. Much merit to you, Bhante.
Yeah.
Everyone Sannai. Before we wind up the session, with your kind attention, join with me to pay homage to Honorable Bhante. Avsarai Sainansa. Bhante, with our deep respect, we thank you for sharing your valuable time, guiding us in our Dhamma path, and may all the merit occurred give you the strength, courage, and good health to fulfill your noble path towards Nibbana in this very gain of life itself. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Probably we can share merits that we have conducted the Dhamma discussion and we shared our practice experiences. So all these merits, what we have earned, we'll share with all the living beings, all the past relatives, and all the celestial beings as well. And we'll recite the traditional verses to share the merits. Ettavatacha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavatacha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavatacha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha ca bummatti devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu sasanang. Akasattha ca bummatti devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu desanang. Akasattha ca bummatti devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu mamparang. Idang vo ñātīnaṁ hotu sukitā huntu ñātayo. Idang vo ñātīnaṁ hotu sukitā huntu ñātayo. Idang vo ñātīnaṁ hotu sukitā huntu ñātayo. Imina punya kammena māme bāla samāgamo. Satang samāgamo hotu yāva nibbāna pattiyā. Imina punya kammena māme bāla samāgamo. Satang samāgamo hotu yāva nibbāna pattiyā. Imina punya kammena māme bāla samāgamo. Satang samāgamo hotu yāva nibbāna pattiyā. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.